What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You dead meat!
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James. We're married and we like to get substance together.
Yeah, we like to pump it up.
Pump it up. Don't you know?
Don't you know?
You've got to pump it up.
Hey, when are we going to get the version of that song from this movie?
Yeah, because I looked for it online. I can only find other versions.
Same. I was trying to find it while I was driving home. I was listening to it because the rest of the soundtrack is on Spotify.
Yeah.
But a different artist does
the Pump It Up song. And it's a different version. It's bullshit. The one online is not as cool.
It's not. It's not as good.
No.
Anyway, today we're talking about The Substance, finally. I'm so excited we get to talk about it. This is my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know. Right now, it's probably getting my vote at
Yeah.
the awards. It's real fucking fun.
Like, I just fucking love it. I can't stop thinking about it. I've seen it twice. I would see it again. Like, it's... I don't know. It's just a movie that makes me so excited about movies, you know?
Yes.
It's so invigorating, and it's fun, and it's angry, and it's gross.
The soundtrack and design is so good, and you feel it. It's just cool.
Yeah.
It's just cool visually and sonically.
Yeah. Every woman I've talked to about this movie, it is like such a moment of like, oh, the substance. It's really special. You know, obviously it's not the first movie made by a woman for women, but this one just feels so uniquely pissed off in a fun way. Like there's joy in it, and that's such a cool thing to see.
It's a really fun watch. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I think earns it all.
It earns it, yeah.
It just, I was never checking my watch during it. I was always excited to see what happened next, especially with the second watch when you know everything that's coming.
Don't you know?
When you know. Every scene that comes up, you're like, oh, it's this scene. Cool. Oh, it's this scene. Cool. And it never feels like it's wasting time or repeating itself. Just like, everything is used.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah. My thoughts this episode, I fear, are going to be very scatterbrained because the way this movie makes me feel is a lot of things at once. And it's hard for me to kind of eloquently spit all of that out.
Because especially the movie is very obviously about what it's about. It is about a woman aging in society and in entertainment.
It's truly we live in a society.
Yeah.
It's a we live in a society
and
movie.
It wears that theme on its sleeve. It is not being subtle about it is not a subtle movie at all. From the acting to the visuals, it is all very in your face. At the same time, there's a lot that you can dig into. And you were explaining to me all this color stuff that you noticed, which I'm really excited for you to get into at some point.
If you listen to this show, you know that I love a good color story being told in a movie, and this one has such an interesting one.
So there's that. There's also just, you get the stuff thematically on the face of the movie, but there's more when you think about it. There are layers to it. There's a whole reading that can be done with having a kid, that I've seen posited, and that makes sense to a certain extent. There's just all sorts of readings from the little things that are going on in the frame and the settings, and it's so fun to dig into that when you know that it was all done purposefully, because this was written and directed by Coralie Fargeat, a French director, French filmmaker, who did Revenge. Revenge was her first
my queen, my
feature
goat,
film.
dude. Coralie Fargeat, holy shit.
I've been on the Fargeat train.
Dude.
For a long time since I saw Revenge.
Yes.
And I was like, because I got you to watch Revenge.
Yeah, because at first I was scared to watch Revenge.
Yeah, it's a rape revenge movie.
It's a rape revenge, which those are hard to watch. They're not fun. But somehow she makes a fun fucking rape revenge. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah. Which
but
is
that
also
movie's
like
incredible.
An angry but stylish and victorious film.
Yeah.
It's gory as all hell.
And she is so good at imperfect female characters.
Yes.
And I love it. I love it. We're getting so much more of that now, and it's really exciting. We just got to see Smile 2 early, and that main character as well is just really delicious. Shades of gray. We got to talk to Parker Finn about her, which was very cool. But I love getting to see more of that, especially in horror, because yeah.
So from Revenge, as soon as I heard that she was making another movie, I was excited. Then you see the cast. It's Demi Moore. It's
Margaret
Qualley and Dennis Quaid.
Dude, Dennis Quaid jump scare warnings throughout this film, dude. Performance of a lifetime, honestly.
Yeah.
From Mr. Quaid here.
So that, hearing the cast, hearing what it was about, I was all in. We were in Korea when this came out, and I remember being on the bus in Seoul, buying the tickets at our local AMC.
Yeah, as I am muting the substance,
From your
Demi
Twitter.
Moore, Coralie, just everyone on Twitter was like, okay, everyone needs to shut the fuck up.
I bought tickets for the day after we got back. So we get back from
We're
our trip, and the next
jet-lagged
day,
as hell.
it's like, we're going to see this, man.
Yeah.
And it's so worth it. Like, anything she does, I'm so excited to see.
Me too.
She has such I can't believe she's only made 2 movies, and they're both bangers.
Yeah.
And
she's I think 48, 49.
yeah.
But she talked a lot about, like, in press for this movie, the insane anxiety she had making her debut feature in her 40s.
Yeah.
Which is, when you think about it, kind of crazy, because, I don't know, I'm someone where I would love to make a movie someday. I personally think any movie I'm going to make is going to be more interesting once I've lived a little bit more of my own life to pull from. So I don't get why.
Well, it's intimidating because there are so many people who can bust out a masterpiece at like 25.
Yeah.
You know, and I say so many. There's not so many. It's just that you are aware of them because they're so exceptional. And
They're
you keep them in
exceptional,
your
and
head.
we obsess over them. We obsess over youth in terms of success. We've got the, like, 30 under 30 stuff, you know, like, even not even just in terms of beauty, but there's this idea that if you haven't achieved something incredible by the time you turn 30, then it's not as
too late, pack it
it's
up.
not as impressive, you know? Yeah.
And it's bullshit, you know. People go through life at different rates and stages, and can use their life experience to different degrees depending on where they're at. And
also, just in terms of, like, the way we talk about celebrity and women aging in the public eye. I was just talking to a friend, and we both thought it was crazy that this type of body horror, as it relates to this subject matter, it's kind of nuts that this hasn't really been tackled before like this. It seems so obvious.
body horror centered around a woman aging.
Yeah, and like, or a celebrity aging, or, you know, like the public getting to watch someone age, and everyone is very open with how they feel about that. Because we encourage it. Like, tabloids are their own industry, like gossip blogs, all of that. And I actually pulled up some old gossip blogs and articles about Demi Moore, because I was curious to see what she was bringing with her to this, because she talked about that in interviews as well. She is someone who has had plastic surgery done. She's aged in limelight. You know, she was famous at a very young age, and
she was part of the Brat Pack in the 80s.
Yeah.
So she would have been like early 20s, like 20s.
I mean, she was like total Hollywood babe.
Yeah.
Still is, I should say.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like in terms of, we all love you, Elizabeth Sparkle, kind of Hollywood babe. Yeah, and then G.I. Jane, which I wonder if that also kind of marked a shift in terms of how people looked at her, because she's very masculine in that movie, which
she shaves her head, which is what I remember as a kid is seeing, is like, oh yeah, she shaved her head. I wonder if that was like, and then she's like, looks like she was like 37 or 35-ish during that movie. So I feel like that's the age where like some people might start thinking of you as like, oh, now they can't be hot, even though that's so far from the truth, dude. I wonder if like between hitting that age and then shaving her head, was that maybe a turning point in her being perceived as like a sex symbol?
Yeah, maybe.
And that was after she did Striptease the year prior, which was not well received, if I remember correctly.
No, it's not. No. Yeah. You know, she's always been in the like tabloids.
She married Ashton Kutcher for a while.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he was way younger than her.
Yes, and people had issues with that. The kind of disproportionate like concern, or like her being made the butt of jokes for that age gap, when like the reverse you see so often.
Yeah, and he was 27 when he married her. She was 43. So it's not like he was like 21.
No.
That'd be weird.
No. Like, I thought they were cute, and then he cheated on her, I think.
Okay.
So that couldn't have felt great either.
Yeah, you know, getting traded out for a younger model.
Which, like, people, you know, I'm sure she was aware while they were together, people saying that that's inevitably what would happen, kind of stuff.
Was that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
People said?
He's not going to want to be with an old hag anymore, kind of.
Wow. Very relevant. It should be noted that she is currently 60 years old, playing 10 years younger.
Which is crazy.
She plays someone turning 50 in Substance, and I bought it.
Yeah,
I believed it. And I was like, wait a minute, she's been around for a minute.
But yeah, I grabbed, I just wanted to read some of these tabloids real quick before we jump in, just because I think it paints a really interesting picture. And like this obviously is going to inform her performance. Yeah. This is an article from, I was shocked, 2018. This is so fucking recent. I pulled some other stuff from like 2007, but this is 2018. So Demi Moore posted a selfie of her in a bathing suit. And this article says the actress has always made headlines by taking her clothes off, posing naked on the cover of Vanity Fair. Very, very famously, that picture of her pregnant where she's covering her boobs. Yeah, okay. I think that's Annie Leibovitz. Stripping down to a two-piece on David Letterman to promote striptease in '96. But you think a girl would want to put on a robe or something as she nears the half-century mark. Not Moore, the 47-year-old mother of three who spends more time online than a Justin Bieber fan. This had to have been written earlier than 2018.
Yeah, 2018, a Justin Bieber fan.
Because it says updated 2018. I don't know what was changed.
Well,
but
it also says approaching 50.
Yeah, we could probably do the math.
47, so she's 60 now.
Yeah, we can do the math
now.
on when this was published.
Yeah. So that would have been at least 5 years prior, so like 2013-ish, which makes more sense with the Justin Bieber.
She recently posted a shot of herself in the powder room, clad only in, you can tell this is, I don't know, it's not British, it's from the fucking Boston Herald. In the powder room.
In the powder room.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, clad only in sunglasses and a snakeskin style bikini. A hot flash? Nope, just a case of eternal adolescence. Whatever, right? Moore was like just celebrating the sun and sand. OMG, what's your problem? Yes, Moore's figure is fantastic, and it's a body she clearly works hard to maintain. Master cleanses, Navy SEAL workouts, a rumored $500,000 plastic surgery bill, and leech therapy. But bikini shots in the bathroom? It's one thing when the too young to know any better crowd does it, but what is with middle-aged folks uploading revealing self-portraits? Before Demi pressed the send button last week, Michael Lohan was posting half-naked self-portraits on Twitter. No wonder Lindsay drinks. Like, Lindsay Lohan catching strays in this article, too.
Oh, no.
And thanks to Demi's overshare, the copycats are coming faster than you can say, Mom, why are you wearing my thong? Lisa Rinna of Melrose Place was the first on board, posting a photo of herself Thursday, tweeting, doing the Demi, power to the 47-year-old's, exclamation, like 5 exclamation marks. She is my idol, smiley face. Good for her. Moore's shots were a bit fuzzy, but one thing is clear. Her two-piece twit pic sends a dismal message. Validation comes from teasing anonymous online followers with a bit of TNA. You are what you don't wear, but tying your self-worth to a string bikini isn't just a teenage problem. It can last a lifetime. Thanks, Demi. Dude, what the fuck? Let her wear the bikini. She looks hot as fuck.
Yeah, where's this picture?
I was like, I know you're going to want to see it. Just Google Demi Moore bikini selfie.
Okay.
Like,
I will.
why is anyone mad about this? I don't understand.
Wait, this? Or is this
That's
later?
not it. That's a later one, actually. Yeah. While you're looking at bikini pics of Demi Moore, I will read. These are some gossip blog comments from 2007. And the reason I picked this gossip blog is because I would read this blog every day after school, which, when I think back on it, wow, I wish I fucking did not do that. Because, you know, as a teen, you don't realize that stuff will kind of stick in your brain as the years go by. You know, like, I think if you're younger now, you don't realize maybe the like kind of online spaces you're in more likely than not will have kind of rules or a sense of etiquette in terms of body shaming or talking about people's looks. It was the wild fucking West in the 2000s. This is an article about Demi complaining that, I think admitting at this point, because she, for a while, was cagey about it. She was admitting that she'd gotten plastic surgery done, had a ton of it done, and basically was lamenting the fact that women her age, it's harder to get cast and stuff. We all fucking know this. Like, this is not, you know, that's something I think we can all say is true. Like, many actresses have talked about this. But here's some of the comments I picked. And keep in mind, I probably read this when I was 16, 17, whenever this article came out. Maybe she's the one who has a problem with age with all the plastic surgery. She's even married to a man in his 20s. Why would she need any new roles? She's freaking Demi Moore. She already had her fame. Just made me think of Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yeah.
40-something.
You were amazing.
You were amazing. 40-something singleton hits out at Hollywood stars' insistence on recruiting boyfriends that are in their 20s rather than more age-appropriate suitors. Then a few comments making fun of her daughters. I think her daughter needs it the most. It was kind of, I don't know if you know Rumor Willis. She's been in some stuff. Her daughter.
She did a guest spot on a Fox show when I worked there. I forget which one. Empire?
She was always the target of gossip blog ire because people liked making fun of her chin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she's beautiful. But this comment, she looks hot, but not realistic for her age at all. Anyway, I'd be happy if I were her. She's got enough money to last for ages and maybe spend, you know, on Rumor's chin. Just saying. She obviously is questioning her value and if it was worth it to get all the surgery when she can't even get a part, which is sad. That was just a few little selects I grabbed. So even the younger women don't get off. They're related to Demi, so they're catching strays in here too.
Well, that's very relevant to the substance when
Yes,
it comes
it
to
is.
Sue.
Yes,
and,
it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of good background and context for this film, which we're gonna be talking a lot about because there's just a lot to dig in here. And it gives us a lot to talk about. Mm-hmm. It's great. I don't know what else we should say about it.
Now let's just get into it because this one's going to be hefty, this episode, because there's just a lot to talk about.
Go see it, you know.
Dude, go see it, if only for there being a good sound system.
Yeah, definitely see it in a
the
theater because the sound is just going to... And if you can...
And to watch audiences
Exactly.
react.
If you can get in there with a good audience. We didn't have that many people in our theater,
No.
unfortunately. We didn't get to experience the like group revulsion and reactions to certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a lot of body horror. I mean, Gresso is our good normie barometer. How is like the horror and effects and stuff for you?
Very tolerable. It's done
okay.
so well. I mean, it's gross.
Yeah.
Like there are gross out parts, and it is intense, and it makes you squirm. If you're not used to watching body horror stuff, which I am not, but it's done so well and with such purpose that nothing's gratuitous, nothing's over the top, nothing's doing it for shock value. There's so much intent behind everything. Like if body horror is not usually your thing, there's so much worth seeing in this movie. To see this movie, like my wife and I also want to go see this movie again. Like it's a fantastic movie. So echoing as the normie barometer,
Yes.
it swings to see the movie.
Yeah, you will see it compared to Cronenberg because of the effects that happen. That is not a bad comparison as far as visually what's going on.
Visually and also like tech anxiety is a big runner in his movies as well, and there's certainly a lot of that here.
Also a lot of nudity. I don't know if you need to hear that or know it going in.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
I'm sorry, but this is such a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
If you're like a horror nut and you love gore and all this, you love watching people fucking die, you can't be offended by tits. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that is so weird to me.
I agree.
Like, get
I
the
100%
fuck over
agree.
it.
I assume maybe some people want to know in case
Don't watch this with grandma, I guess.
maybe they don't want to watch it with their parents or something.
Yeah. This one, you know what I would say? This is one I wouldn't want to watch it with my dad. This is
With your dad, okay. I was gonna say Claudia would probably be down.
No, I would watch the fuck out of this with my mom.
Yeah,
this
she'd
is a
love it.
weird one to like watch with your dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a weird one.
That's fair.
Okay. That's the caveat, I guess.
Because Coralie Fargeat loves butts, man.
Dude, Coralie Fargeat loves butts.
And I love that she loves butts.
Yeah,
It's
me
in
too.
Revenge, you get that character. There's lots of like butt in there.
Yeah.
Just a lot of like shots.
Like women hanging out in a t-shirt and underwear.
Yeah, or after she becomes the fighter woman and is rebirthed, there's those like panning shots around her like almost naked body, and it's just reveling in what she is and how she looks.
Yeah,
plenty of that in this movie too. Yeah, and so you will have an appetite, or you will have a feast of butts.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Game of Thrones book.
Feast of butts. Let's
get into the substance.
Let's get into it. We start off with that egg yolk, a little preview of what's to come.
Yeah, it gets injected with the substance.
Injected with like some like reanimator type substance. It's like the yellowy green version of reanimator.
Yeah, and then it splits into two, which I'm assuming is CG.
I don't know, but it looks cool.
It looks good. It'd be a cool practical effect, but I think it may be a CG. But then it's a nice prelude intro to the movie and its themes.
I love this.
A bunch of men build up a star, as they are putting in the
that's nice.
the sidewalk star for Elizabeth Sparkle. You get to see it built up.
I found this very satisfying to watch.
Yes.
The star getting made.
Like on the Hollywood Walk of Fame where people have their stars. So you see like the concrete poured and the stencils put in.
And it is perfect because the Walk of Fame, if you've never been to LA or if you've never been to like downtown Hollywood specifically, you don't realize, at first, yes, the stars on the ground are very beautiful. They're pristine. You've got the whole ceremony. We do the press conference. And then after a while, every one of those stars has piss on it.
Yep. A lot of piss in Hollywood. And so this shows from a top-down perspective the entire time, which is great. The star is made, and then there's the ceremony where, you see her from the top down getting all these pictures taken. And then it's initial life where people are taking pictures with it.
People are like, oh, wow, it's her new
Elizabeth
star.
Sparkle, we found the star.
And then it's someone's parent like, oh, I love her. She was in this movie. Then it's someone like, oh, yeah,
yeah, she was in, what was she in? And then the seasons are changing while this is happening. You have fall leaves. The star starts to crack, the concrete in there. Right off the bat, there's winter and snow.
Don't care. It looks cool.
No, I'm saying it's setting up a tone. It is setting up expectations.
It's seasons. It's aging.
There's that, and there's also just like the movie will not bow to realism to forsake its themes and depictions of these things. It does not snow in Los Angeles. Does not happen.
Yeah.
So snow on that star.
Unless you go to the Grove and they shoot that like fake snow
like
out where
flakes?
it's like, no, it's like soap suds, dude.
In any case, real snow is not falling on any stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So right off the bat, you're like, wait, it's snowing? Even your wife, Gressa, was like, it doesn't snow. It's like, it does not.
It does not,
You're
but
right.
it does in Coralie Fargeat's Los Angeles, where we also have women fully with their boobs out on a network television special.
Yeah. So you're just that should be a clue. The other very unrealistic thing that happens is a guy walks by, drops a hamburger,
and tries
to clean it up.
Nah, dude, you gotta just keep going, man. You don't want to touch stuff that's down there. Like once something's down there, it's no man's land, dude. Yeah. Let that street sweeper that we all pay taxes for, that I get parking tickets to pay for, clean that up.
That's right. Elizabeth Sparkle is a aerobics instructor.
Yeah, this is kind of like a Jane Fonda type, post award-winning career, where that's what I thought of it.
They mentioned that she has an Oscar.
Yeah.
So she was an actress. Yeah. And now is doing this like workout thing, presumably aimed at like middle-aged women.
Your mom would love Elizabeth Sparkle.
Oh, for my mom specifically? Yeah, Cynthia Janice. Yes, she would.
Yeah.
My mom was a fitness instructor when she worked. And yes, Elizabeth Sparkle would be right up her alley. So, because we had the Thigh Master. We had all the Suzanne Summers stuff.
Suzanne Summers is another, yes.
Yeah, which is another perfect. She was probably in her late 30s when she was doing that stuff. But Elizabeth Sparkle today turns 50.
Yes, and everyone reminds her it's her birthday. Happy birthday. And for women, birthdays are a weird thing. Getting into my 30s, I'm in my mid 30s. Birthdays every year are a weird combination of feelings. It's like, yay, it's my birthday. Everyone gets to pay attention to me, and I get to go do whatever, which is usually James and I go to like an arcade or something goofy. But then it's like, oh man, I'm another year older, and it's.
I will say I also feel that feeling. That's not just exclusive to women, although there is another aspect of it to it.
The thing is I think for women, and again, this is not an exclusive thing for women, but more so women are told that our beauty is inherently tied to our worth. And that it is a finite resource that can run out.
And also
will run out.
Tend to associate women's beauty with youth, whereas men there's a lot of they can age like fine wine.
Dignified.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think that's changing, or maybe that's just my personal experience.
I do think beauty
older,
standards in general for men are a lot more insane now, particularly for younger men. I think it's a real problem.
It's a serious problem.
Similarly, too, later in this movie, there's a scene where Demi Moore is screaming at Sue to just fucking admit what she does for her beauty routine, right? Reveal her beauty secret. Can we just all fucking admit that actors do steroids? We all need to just say it. It drives me fucking insane. It's so terrible for young boys to see this shit, and everyone pretends it's because they're eating like chicken, like unseasoned chicken and broccoli. Fuck off.
Yeah.
They are dehydrating themselves and they're shooting themselves up with drugs. It really upsets me. And it sucks that experiencing this as a young girl growing up, why the fuck are we starting to do this now to men? You look at Wolverine's body in the early X-Men and it's totally different. It just makes me crazy.
Yeah, leading men from 70s, 80s, 90s, their bodies are just so normal.
They've got
and
hot
real.
dad vibes.
Yeah, and then
and they have hair, they have body hair too.
And less hair on top. So many guys with receding hairlines in those days.
Oh yeah,
including Bruce Willis, Demi Moore's ex. But as it gets past the 2000s into the 2010s, the proliferation of superhero movies, guys. And even just not in those action movies, in just rom-coms and dramas, everyone's looks
maxing, dude.
What?
Looks everyone, we're all looks maxing now. We're all mewing and looks maxing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big problem, and I do like that the substance does include a man who's doing this.
Yes.
He's in the peripheries. He's a side character, but it does show that this is not a thing that only women experience. It's not saying that men don't have these problems.
Right.
They have different problems unique to either side. But
I do think though for women there's a bit of uniqueness in the sense of like I said earlier, it's this idea of it's a finite resource and it's the one thing you've got kind of feeling. I remember when I was in my early mid-20s and I started off in post-production. Post-production, most of your day is sitting in a room by yourself often with no fucking windows. It's a very solitary job. It's very much behind the camera, right? And I remember so vividly talking to a guy who, I forget if he worked in post or was just on the production. He asked what I did because I was kind of new. Mentioned I worked in post. And he was like, oh, really? I figured you were one of like the performers or something. He was like, oh, that's, he said just so flippantly, oh, that's a waste. What a waste.
Wow. Wow.
Which, like, what a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it's like
Do you know what I mean?
It's like a big air quotes compliment to you individually while just insulting everything else.
And I still think about that and what that implies. Because it's like, I could be the world's best editor. And I'm a fucking good editor, right? It's what I went to school for.
Yeah.
It's what I wanted to do for so long.
But because you happen to be attractive, it's a waste.
It's
that
a
you're
waste
doing that.
That's what I am prioritizing.
Instead of being on screen for our benefit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Until a certain point when
Then
you don't want to look at you anymore. It's you know. Yeah.
She stops and we got a lot of Shining references here between the shining carpet and this long hallway that she's walking down. And then she goes into the men's bathroom because hers is out of order.
She goes into the bathroom from The Shining.
And it's,
like,
it's
the bathroom.
She's filming these things at Overlook Studios. Also, a tie to The Shining that you pointed out was that The Shining, one of its most famous scenes, does include a woman who is young and beautiful and naked. And the horror comes from after Jack Nicholson embraces her turning into an old woman.
She's old. And granted, she's also like moldy.
She is decaying.
Which would be a little scary.
Yep.
But it's part of it is, it's like, good God, her boobs are so saggy.
Yeah. It's like, what happened to the hot you? No. We will get more hag stuff as the movie goes on.
Oh, man, we are full hagcore.
Hagsploitation.
For real in this.
While she's in the stall, she hears Dennis Quaid walk up to a urinal while on the phone, and he's talking about how this old bitch needs to be replaced.
She's 50. She turned 50 today.
They got to get rid of her and find someone young.
Someone new, young, hot.
While he is saying that, I noticed he has a few false starts with his urine stream, which is something that'll happen as you get older.
Your prostate.
You gotta warm it up. You gotta give it time to get going.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to that guy that he's older. Also, he finishes up, turns around, walks out that door. Ladies, I apologize if you are not aware of this, but as a man who uses public restrooms and who always washes his hands.
This is knowledge you'll never unknow.
The amount of men that I see do this is about 50%.
That's so disgusting.
I would say about half of all men that I see in public restrooms, in the airport, at conventions, wherever, at movie theaters, you'll see them walk in, they'll use the urinal, and then they'll just turn around and walk out that door.
Listen, when you all come to meet us at conventions, you will notice there is a giant bottle of hand sanitizer on the table, and I use it profusely. My hands by the end are like sandpaper. They're so dry. Do not take this personally if I shake your hand and then like a minute later fucking hit the hand sanitizer. I just don't like my odds, you know?
They're not good odds. I'm telling you. I'm shocked every time.
Yeah.
I'm shocked every time. I'm like, dude, we're at a public place.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he even says like Oscar winner my ass, you know, the fact that a woman can accomplish winning an Oscar. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible how often it's like, okay, so now what? You won your Oscar and okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The last shot of this scene inside the bathroom is water going down the drain, just like her youth.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then she gets a lunch with him where we get the most disgusting close-ups.
This is like all the body horror in this aside, these fucking shrimps, dude. I hate it.
Are they like crawfish? There's some kind of gross
shrimp cocktail. I don't know.
Probably just peel and eat shrimp.
Okay.
It's
they're the little sea bugs that he's peeling over and eating and deshelling, and it is close-ups. The sound design here and throughout the entire movie is so pronounced and just adds to whatever you're watching on the screen. But Dennis Quaid is telling her that in between looking up a waitress's skirt, which again, this is the world of this movie.
Butts.
I don't think that it's butts. I don't think I don't know where they're at. I doubt in actuality a waitress's skirt would be halfway up her ass cheek like it is here.
What if you work at like one of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants?
Is that what it's like?
No, they wear like skimpy little dresses.
But this one is like, it doesn't even
and
reach.
Isn't this supposed to be like the Warner Brothers commissary?
It seems like it's the studio
it's like
commissary.
A smokehouse across the street. Yeah.
But yes, this is the world of the film where butts are out and he's just taking his time looking at them.
Yeah.
He tells her that at 50 it stops. You know,
like
it stops, and then he sees a friend. He's like, "Oh, hey!" The way he interacts with other dudes in this is so funny. They've just got their arms around each other's shoulders, and they're like,
the glimpse you get into like the man's world side of the Coralie Fargeat Los Angeles universe is so crazy.
They're basically
it's the
skipping
best
down the
time
hall.
Ever.
They're literally skipping down the hall, chasing after like Playboy bunnies.
Yes.
They're like,
Do you remember
feathers.
those like me-sized dolls, like the commercials for those like full-size dolls where it's just like the idyllic day of like riding your big wheel, and like that's what it is.
That's what it feels like for sure.
There's an infantilization to how they behave.
Yes. It is like little boys on a playground for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, she drives home, and on her way home, again, very pointedly, not subtle at all, she sees a billboard of her face being taken down, and the distraction causes her to get into one of those classic cinema side view car crashes.
Yep. She ends up in the hospital. She's fine, like miraculously so. And they're like, okay, yeah. But, by the way, you're Elizabeth Sparkle. The doctor says, my wife is a huge fan. And earlier, there was like on the Walk of Fame, there was like an older, like white hairs, an older woman saying that she's looking at Elizabeth Sparkle's star in that montage. She was like, I just love her. And you start to see how as Elizabeth ages, her fan base is people's moms, people's grandmas. It's like older women almost exclusively. And I think that's also part of what sets her off here too.
Yeah. A younger doctor there, however, has taken an interest in her and says that she'd make a perfect candidate. For what? He won't say exactly, but when she leaves, she finds in her pocket a flash drive that says the substance and a note that says it changed my life.
So she goes home, and before
she runs into Fred.
Yes, right before she gets home, she runs into Fred from homeroom.
Yeah, from elementary school.
No, he's a 10th grade homeroom.
Oh, 10th grade. Okay. Who's followed her career, and she's still the most beautiful girl in the world.
He's like, wow, you haven't changed a bit. And he is just fawning over her and is super nervous. He like writes down his phone number on his fucking cholesterol level printout they gave him, drops it in this dirty water and gives it to her anyway. It's sweet, if not a bit, uncomfortable, but I think in the end he's well-meaning, and later in this movie I think everyone's team Fred.
Yeah. At first I'm like, what's Fred's deal? Is he in the fairy? No, dude. Fred's just a sweet little guy.
He's sweet.
I love that, later they make plans, or he makes plans for dinner with her, and it's like Luigi's at 8, and I just know exactly what Luigi's is. It's gonna be like half a step above an Olive Garden.
Yes, that's right.
But that's what Fred's got, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sweet.
Did you guys think that his like big sin is suggesting that she hasn't changed?
I did write down, you haven't changed a bit.
Yeah.
Yes, because that is something we also do to women when we talk about their looks and aging, is we assign this weird often moralization of like fawning over when people don't age.
Yeah, and again, not to men too, but men get it too with like, I'm thinking Paul Rudd, Rob Lowe.
Rudd is like this, yeah.
It's always like, oh, they haven't aged a bit. And it's like, no, they have. And it is visible. You can look good, period. Not look good for your age. You can look good at any age.
Yeah.
And it always frustrates me, and I have consciously stopped saying like, oh, you look like you haven't aged, or like you look like you haven't changed. No matter what, the signs of aging and change are there. They might be subtle, they might be more pronounced, but like...
And also it's like, what kind of compliment is it really? It's not anything they have or haven't done. I don't know.
Like maybe they wore more sunscreen good on them.
Yeah, but that's why it starts to become this weird moral thing. And you'll often see too, like if a celebrity like says something fucking stupid or like racist or, you know, something cancel worthy, they happen to be a celebrity who's older and they have visibly aged. People will start to be like, oh, that's, you know, evil ages, or like that's what happens when you're an old crusty racist kind of thing. And we start to do this kind of bizarre, very medieval, like this is like dark ages shit of like how you look outside equates to
that crone's a witch.
Yeah. And like ugly laws and stuff where like people who society find objectionable looking aren't even allowed to like be outside because it's too offensive kind of. I don't know. That squicks me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets home. The studio has sent her flowers because she's been let go. That say it's a bunch of red roses, and flowers I think are an interesting gift because flowers are beautiful for a moment and then they wilt. And it says, "You were amazing."
Yep.
Like,
thanks for everything. You were amazing.
You were amazing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I loved your channel in 2019.
Hey, man, yeah, we love hearing that. That's always a weird, like, thank you. We still make videos. I know we're cringe and old. I read lots of comments that are like, I think now that we're in our mid-30s, I feel like there's been such an uptick of like, we're cringe. I was reading some comments today that were like, they're almost 40. This is so cringe.
No one said that. Did someone say that?
I saw someone say that. It was
that's
like,
another thing I hate is they're almost next decade that we're 5 years or 4 years from. It's like, listen, when I'm 39, go ahead and say I'm knocking on 40's door. I'm still the mids count.
for a woman, I might as well be almost 40. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she plugs in the little flash drive and watches the video on it, and we get the rules of the substance. It's an intro to what it is. And I love this fucking voiceover.
It's great.
I love this. I love the aesthetic of the substance.
It feels like I'm trying to think of what
product,
especially.
I thought of a few.
Okay, because it seems like almost like products that we get sent for sponsorships.
Yes,
and like
it is such startup aesthetic. Yes. The one that I specifically thought of, I use bite retainers. They're like the Invisalign kind of retainers you wear at night. And the packaging that those fucking things came in were so similar, like big, bold font where there's minimal instructions and it's like step 1, this. Yeah. And it's like, I need a little more. And then you have to dig through and okay, there's a more elaborate set of rules you can look to for clarification. But that's what I thought of.
It's very on point.
Yes.
It's so
accurate.
Funny.
It's so...
Because it's saying you can get a younger, beautiful, more perfect you.
Yeah.
And what it'll do is it'll create a new you. You will be the Matrix. You will have a new you. It will still be you, but you will exist in a better form. 7
days, you switch. Always.
Does that get revealed here or when she actually gets it?
That's in the video.
That is in the video? Okay,
yeah.
So it says like...
You are the Matrix.
It's like, don't forget you're the Matrix. Yellow Play-Doh.
Yeah, the Play-Doh is a part of the video.
Yeah, because one can't exist without the other.
You are one.
Remember, you are one.
Yeah, remember, you are one.
Yeah. I will be referring to, or if not exclusively...
Thank you, Fangoria.
Fangoria did this movie rules so much, Fangoria did a special edition mini little issue in between their quarterly
it is
releases.
Like my size, Barbie size.
Yeah, it's great. It's just about the substance. It has an interview with Coralie and then a write-up from Britt Hayes, and it's really good.
She, at first, just tosses this in the garbage.
Yep.
She's like, there's no way. I wonder, what do you think prompts her to just toss this? Do you think she just thinks it's bullshit?
Yeah, it's, oh yeah, you can be a more younger, more beautiful you.
Like, oh, sure, I've heard how often do I get the fucking take-home baggies at the Oscars or whatever of, like, skincare products and stuff.
Exactly.
You know, I've heard it all, whatever. It's like fucking death becomes her, you know?
I thought it was, like people's reactions to Ozempic when that came out of like this is gonna kill people.
Yeah, like there was such
a rejection
way.
of it initially, and then there was this like weird embrace kind of almost.
Yeah.
Of like, well, I hear it's not that bad, and like so that I saw it as like that kind of like since that's so recent, the whole weight loss drug thing.
Yeah.
Or from a guy's side, like HGH.
Oh,
and,
sure, yeah,
These,
like,
these
this
like
is a
new
cure-all.
safer steroids that aren't like they aren't the steroids that like they'll fuck you up. They're ones that you can use safely.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
Yeah. So after she tosses it out, we quickly see kind of what her night is like. She goes out to a bar by herself. She's drinking by herself. It's sad.
A lot of cocktails.
I noticed her dress in this scene. Her
backless.
it's backless, so we get to fully see her spine, which is what the doctor, the nurse from earlier was kind of inspecting and to see if she's a good candidate. And also that's the spine is a very big part of the process of the substance.
And I think it's lit specifically in a way to emphasize her like skin is it has the effects of
skin,
age. It's
yeah.
a little saggy because she's a 60-year-old woman. That's
Yeah.
fine. It like she still looks great. But this huge backless dress I think is there to show her age.
Yeah.
And she sees like a younger couple there and having a good time laughing. Their life's ahead of them. She's pretty sad, so
Yeah.
she goes home and fishes that thing out.
I think she takes one last look at this little snow globe of her at her peak.
That's
her
right.
frozen in time. That literally is what a snow globe is. This frozen moment in time.
Awarded to Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yeah.
Throws it, busts out the eye of this giant Elizabeth Sparkle poster that she has
Yeah.
hanging up, which I'm assuming is a photoshopped image of actual younger Demi Moore.
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of like repurposed photo shoots of Demi Moore for like past Elizabeth Sparkle,
which is perfect,
things.
very handy to have.
I love it.
Yeah, this giant image just looms over her as a reminder of her youth, what she looked like before, and it will become a focal point throughout the entire film and has such a good payoff.
Yeah.
That thing is there the entire time, and then it is used to great effect in the finale.
Yeah. The next morning, we'd see briefly she has a housekeeper. We only see this housekeeper in one scene. We don't see her the rest of the movie. Elizabeth doesn't even acknowledge the housekeeper.
No, she's
They're
sitting there.
basically sitting in separate rooms. And what I find super interesting, and this is getting into like the color story of this movie a little bit. Obviously, we've got the bright yellow of the substance. You've got the jacket. You've got the like egg yolk and the Play-Doh and the car that's following her later. That's all, and there's been a lot written about specifically that kind of color story. This second time around, was fascinated by the use of like royal blue in this movie, specifically with Elizabeth. The first few scenes, every outfit she has is this like very like saturated blue color. She's got like blue pantsuits. Her workout outfit in the beginning is blue, and all the background pictures for Elizabeth Sparkle and this Fangoria thing are this blue color. Then I noticed her housekeeper's wearing the exact same color, and I thought that was really interesting. And I kind of started thinking, I think that this color is going to start to symbolize, as the movie goes on, this kind of like women we want to get things out of but don't necessarily want to see. A housekeeper in this instance is a great example. She doesn't even look at her housekeeper. She's just there to get her, what she needs from her. She's there to get labor from her. It's this idea of, I think purposely this woman is larger. She's not like a conventionally attractive woman. She looks like almost like a cartoon housekeeper or like a lunch lady type woman.
Yeah.
And this idea of like, a hierarchy of the type of jobs you're allowed to have and the amount that you're either allowed to be seen or that we want to see you. And I think it's intentional that Elizabeth's wearing this blue as she turns 50 and she's told, we don't want to see you on our TV anymore. And you'll notice as the movie goes on that people's assistants are all wearing royal blue. And blue starts to seep into, we'll meet her later, Sue's wardrobe as well. It's a different shade, but it starts to creep in on the edges of her outfits as well. I just think it's so, so cool and very, very intentional.
Yeah. While the housekeeper's doing her thing, she's drinking Alka-Seltzer, which I also associate with just older people.
Yeah, for
Young
sure.
people aren't popping in Alka-Seltzer after their night of drinking. And she sees the newspaper listing for her replacement.
The new Elizabeth Sparkle.
Females ages 18 to 30 only.
Yep.
That
I'm
does
too
it.
Old.
You?
I'm too old.
You're too old? Mm-hmm. You're not too old to be my Elizabeth Sparkle.
Oh, thanks.
That does it. She calls the substance. She puts in an order, and she has to travel to a pickup place. I love the cut.
Yeah, she has to go to a Michel Gondry film to go pick up the substance.
I love the tracking shot behind her as she's walking through her very nice neighborhood, and it hard cuts to a much not as nice neighborhood. And it's where she has to pick up this item. She uses the card that was sent to her with the number 503 to open the door, but it only opens halfway. This like weird garage door.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like being John Malkovich. It's like she's got to go through this tiny door to get
under
into
a
this
staircase.
room.
It's a great setting for this. I really wonder where it was. She has to like crawl under this door, goes down a hallway to a immaculately lit, completely sterile white room with a bunch of lockers. Only 2 of them have numbers. There's 207 and her number 503. And she puts her card up to that, and it pops open, and there's the box of the substance. And I love just all the visuals. All these shots are so well composed.
It's so good,
how it cuts from the box inside the locker to it sitting at home. It just it's so simple and so effective and stylish and just fucking cool.
Yeah. I think very pointedly she opens this box in the bathroom. A lot of this takes place in the bathroom. The bathroom is a very political space in general.
Oh, sure.
It's a very political space. It's a very violent space. Like, I think in terms of, like, in interviews, Coralie Fargeat's talked about just the violence of becoming aware of yourself as, like, a body to be looked at, and how that, you know, realization made her feel and makes, you know, I don't want to speak for all women, but most women feel. And a lot of that happens in the bathroom. You weigh yourself usually in the bathroom. You look at yourself in the mirror. You
doing body hair
hair, periods, eating disorders often. That's where you're going to see that manifest. It's like...
It's also, you know, even if you aren't dealing with any of that, it's where you go to do the things that women don't do, you know? How many? It's like,
sure.
oh, women don't poop. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about women pooping.
Yeah. It's where we hide all of the gross things about our body
that are very human.
And then also often it's where we do the things to make us more palatable visually. We put on makeup in the bathroom. We get ready, and it's a very loaded space. I'm not the first person to point this out. There was a very good Twitter thread about this that I thought was so on point.
She is going through the steps of the substance. Step 1 is using the activator, which is a single-use item.
Single-use activator. That's the reanimator fluid.
That's using the reanimator fluid and injecting it in you. Step 2 will be the stabilizer, which while you activate only once, you stabilize every day. And then step 3 is the switching protocol, which must be done every 7 days without exception. So it's laid out. Oh yeah. Also, she's standing there naked.
Yeah, like very naked, and we're getting shots like from behind of like low angle shots. Yeah, we like see butt. Inside of Demi Moore. This
a little bit. Yeah.
It's like very. I thought of Titan a little bit, where I was like, oh my God, I feel like I know every centimeter of this actress's body after this movie.
And Demi Moore is a 61-year-old woman. And again, she looks incredible, but like she looks, it's not a body you're used to seeing naked in movies or TV shows.
Yeah.
It's an older body.
And often, even if you are seeing women this age, there are things in their contracts where they've got to be super duper touched up in post. Gressel can tell you all about that as someone who works in post production. This just feels so just matter of fact. This is a woman's body. Deal with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this nudity, and there's a lot of it here, and then when Sue's about to pop out, none of it is like done in a sexy way in the bathroom. It's more clinical. At least with Demi.
Yeah, I would say the only exception is when we first meet Sue, and but like
with Demi, it's more of a like matter of fact.
Yeah,
like this is a human body. It's naked. She looks great. I appreciate its inclusion, but it's not like meant to be exploitative of her.
Yeah,
and I just think it's one of those occasions where it's like this is so much a part of this movie. You can't have this movie, or at least it won't be as effective without showing her and her body in this, like, where it is, you know, where it's like a great body, but you can see that she's unhappy with it because that's the whole thing with this movie. And it's going to be continuing to do a thing as she deteriorates. And it's like, oh, but we had it. Now I can look back and see how good I had it, but I didn't appreciate it then, which is aging.
Yeah. Hey, want to talk to you about our sponsor this week, Rocket Money. It's spooky season, so let's do something scary. Think about how much money you're losing on services you've forgotten you've subscribed to. Ooh. And then let's get on the phone with customer service to cancel them. Oh. But really, can you name every single subscription you have? I know I can't name all of mine, and I'm not alone. Over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. With Rocket Money, I don't have to remember every subscription or worry about forgetting any because I can see them all laid out right in front of me. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, I can cancel it with a tap. I never have to get on the phone with customer service, which, as we all know, is true real-life horror. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/deadmeat. That's rocketmoney.com/deadmeat. rocketmoney.com/deadmeat. Our next sponsor this week is Uncommon Goods. Look, I know it's not even Halloween, so I'm going to break the news gently. It's time to start thinking about holiday shopping. But instead of the same old, you can spark something uncommon this holiday season with incredible hand-picked gifts from Uncommon Goods. They make your holiday shopping stress-free by scouring the globe for original, handmade, and absolutely remarkable gifts for everyone on your list. These gifts spark joy, wonder, delight, and that it's exactly what I wanted feeling. I personally love all the cool puzzle games on Uncommon Goods. They have escape room games you can play at home, packaged mysteries you can solve with a partner, and even gift packaging that has to be solved to open. Stuff like that isn't fun if it's not well put together, so I like that I know it's all been curated by the team at Uncommon Goods. When you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. Many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches, so shop now before they sell out this holiday season. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/deadmeat. That's uncommongoods.com/deadmeat for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. We start to see the effects of the substance happen. There's like this cool eyeball split.
Yeah, her like pupil splits just like the yolk of the egg in the first shot.
Yes.
Her back starts bubbling.
Yeah, she basically molts like a fucking bug. And another person pops out
of her back. Her back splits open. This is full on,
it's
like,
cool.
Yeah. Body opening, and another person pops out, and we're in like first person POV.
Yeah, we're in Smack My Bitch Up first person POV
sure.
with the bathroom mirror and everything.
It's a little blurry. This shot is super fucking cool because I'm pretty sure it's done not in a mirror. It's done with like a hollowed out mirror with Margaret Qualley on the other side and the cam op like miming her actions, swaying from side to side as she like checks it out.
I see. Yeah, and that's then, where there's like a hand Compton.
Exactly. And then when it's pulled out past her body, it's a body double standing there. So it'd be like Margaret, empty wall that's meant to be a mirror, cam op who then pulls back behind a Margaret Qualley body double standing there.
That's cool.
It's real cool. It's just great filmmaking.
Yeah. So yeah, Demi gives birth to Margaret Qualley through her spine. And, you know, I do think while Demi Moore, I don't really think has been touched up in post in terms of like the weird like beauty VFX. I think Margaret Qualley definitely has. I think her skin is like unnaturally smooth.
It is, and her boobs are not real.
Her boobs aren't real. I didn't know that they made her fucking prosthetic boobs for this.
Yeah, so so it's prosthetics, it's not CG?
They're prosthetic boobs.
Okay, so she's wearing prosthetic boobs. Because yes, Margaret Qualley, I don't believe is as busty.
Well, she like her former life she was a ballerina. Ballerinas typically have like
probably aren't that busty.
No.
So that makes sense with like just the physicality.
Yeah, she's a very good dancer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she is made to be more busty, both as a like this is what society often values in women, but also to match Demi, who is bustier.
Sure.
She is supposed to be, a younger, more perfect
I do
version.
also think there's some clever meta commentary in the fact that the woman you ultimately cast to play your ideal hot young replacement, you still have to give her fake boobs because no one can be that perfect,
But she is checking herself out. She's liking what she sees. She gets right to work. She after a little puke up of some green, she sews up Demi Moore's body, who is just laying there lifeless.
She just leaves her laying there in the bathroom.
Yeah, and then she has to break out her little juice packs of Soylent, looks like. The little, like, milky white.
They look like string cheese packs. The food.
The food? Because
yeah.
there's food for both the Matrix and the copy that you just feed intravenously. And when those run out after 7 days, that's, a good sign that you got to switch back.
Sue is hitting the town. She's getting new clothes. She gets
That's after she's like stretching and showering. Lots of shower shots, all of which have very different feels.
Yeah,
to them.
where she's just touching all over her new skin and checking out her ass in the mirror as you would. She steps out to go audition to be the new Elizabeth Sparkle.
Which is so sad.
Yes.
That with this new quote unquote perfect self, this new like lease on life, the only thing that Sue can think to do is to just go back to the same job that she just lost, even though she should know, as Elizabeth as well, they are one, that you're just going to get discarded after a while,
But isn't that also kind of like, when you think, why does anyone become an actress? We should all fucking know. Do you know what I mean? Every young starlet should not be surprised when the industry ultimately fucking discards them.
But you would assume that with the knowledge, the wisdom of age that Elizabeth has, that you would think, I can do something more fulfilling or something different with this new potential. And instead, it's like just a tragic falling back into the same habit and the same desire that Elizabeth has, is to be wanted by men.
But it's her job.
That's, yeah.
What do you mean?
Her job was it was her show. It was taken from her, and she wants the ownership. Men can have ownership over things, and she can't. That's why my read of she wants to audition to be the new Elizabeth Sparkle because she is Elizabeth. There is no new Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yeah,
it's mine. I read it more as an ownership thing than
I think that's what she thinks. But I think that we should be able to recognize it as you are just going to work to be owned by the same guys who just discarded you.
And it's so much, I feel like much more often you'll see the language of like the new blank applied to women more so than men. Like
for new actors and everything. Like who's the new Jennifer
pop
Lawrence?
Stars, who's the new Madonna, who's the new Britney Spears, who's the new Jennifer Lawrence. And it's like, I feel like you so much more often hear that regarding famous women than you do famous men. We see the end of another girl's audition. She's also wearing the royal blue color. She's rejected because they don't like her face.
Her nose, yeah.
They don't like her nose.
Great dancer, great boobs.
We don't want to look at her anymore. She gave us her audition. That's great. We got to look at her boobs. Thanks. Bye.
Get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sue walks in and they ask for the 3 most important things: name, age, measurements.
She says, "I'm Sue," which they said they picked that name because you make a little kissy face when you say it. Sue, which is so perfect. And Sue wears pink, the ultimate girl color. We're both wearing pink today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's wearing a unitard.
It's like, it's a one piece and it's got kind of a cutout on the stomach. I also wrote that
goes right up her ass.
Yeah, I also wrote that pink, you know, aside from the obvious association of like it's the color we put girls in, pink is the color of like lips, tongues, lady parts sometimes,
Lady parts,
nipples
as Janelle
sometimes.
Monáe will infer in a song.
Not always, but often.
Yeah, she gets the job.
She gets the part. Dennis Quaid is so fucking happy. He has her up to his office to say, "You've got the job," and we see he's got an assistant whose name he can't fucking remember.
She says it's Isabella. He says that's a mouthful.
It's
Let's change it to
too many
Cindy.
syllables. You're Cindy now.
That assistant.
Cindy, you're wearing royal blue because we can't even bother to look at you and remember who you are. You are a person in a service role here in this movie.
Sue does have the foresight and the knowledge to be like, hey, I'll love the job, but I do have to be out of town every other week to take care of my mom, which is an excuse based on aging. You know, it's like my aging mom is gonna be sick and needs to be taken care of. And it's kind of the relationship between Sue and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is in some ways her old mother. Like you said, she gave birth to Sue.
Yeah.
And that's the reading that I had seen a little bit about online, where this whole thing, because we're going to see Elizabeth get jealous and envious of Sue, and how Sue is taking the opportunities that Elizabeth once had, and she wants those for herself. Those can kind of mirror having a child and raising them. And I mean, we can't speak to this because we don't have kids, but I imagine there is some element, and I could see it like with my dad, even this kind of resentment and jealousy of if your kid gets opportunities that you didn't, especially if you gave up your life to raise them and give them those opportunities, which is what Elizabeth is basically doing with Sue. My dad was a musician and was a really good one. He was like a studio musician, and he was playing out in Vegas, and he gave that up to have kids, which is something my parents did a little later, like in their 30s, because they weren't sure about having kids. And like, I mean, my family has all talked about, there was maybe some regret or resentment on my mom, and I think especially my dad's part, where it was like, I was doing this thing that I loved, being a musician, playing Vegas. He was like had a rock star life, and he gave that up because he had to have a more stable work to raise us. And the work he got, that he was able to get, was being a millwright in construction, which ended up fucking up his back.
Yeah.
You know, ended up living with pain.
I mean,
his
all of
entire
us
life.
who have, like, my dad was a tinsmith and had, you know, did very physical work for a long time. And he, like, his hearing is kind of fucked up, and he's got, you know, knee problems, all kinds of shit.
They made physical sacrifices for us to have the lives that we have. And I think with my dad, there was resentment there of like, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. I'm in constant pain because of my back so that I could raise you. By the end, you know, he had said how proud he was of me that I made it. But like, I think especially when I was out here at first and not doing that well out here, there was this kind of like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you had all these chances. Yeah. Do something with it. So.
Yeah. And often too, between mothers and daughters, there will sometimes be the notion of like, I ruined my body for you.
Yeah. That's from that side for sure. Like with men, like with my dad, they might experience like physical things from the labor they do. With women, it is literally my body is being torn asunder and changing in order to give you life.
Right.
And it'll never go back to what it was. So thanks for that.
Yeah. I sacrificed the one piece of currency that society tells me I should hold to be most valuable is my physical attractiveness.
So there's that reading as well throughout the film.
I like it. I like it. I noticed here in these earlier outfits, Sue, we're doing half blue, half pink. She's wearing a half blue and pink color blocked sweater. In another scene, she's got a blue blue set of underwear and a pink bra. So early on, she's still the half and half. I think there's still the connection to Elizabeth, and I think the balance is respected at first.
Yes, it is briefly respected. That's what the substance people say, is you must respect the balance. And so when Sue's 7 days are up, You know, she makes a lot of those first 7 days. She's doing rehearsals. She's getting her crew in order to do the show. But those 7 days run out just along with the food, and she has to switch and go back to being Elizabeth. And she does it this time, and Elizabeth comes back. She's obviously missing being Sue.
Yeah, you can tell instantly that this just makes her feel even worse in her Elizabeth body than she did before the substance.
Yeah,
even the way she walks, when she goes
down the street?
outside, she pulls her collar up. She puts on sunglasses.
Yeah, and it's the same sidewalk, the same shot that we saw Sue walking down where she's getting checked out by guys. And now we're watching Elizabeth walk down the street with everyone ignoring her.
Right.
And she goes back to her place of work where the long hallway that had been adorned with poster from end to end of all of Elizabeth's accomplishments has been cleared out. They have eliminated the trace of her. She no longer exists in that building. And her last vestige of presence there is all put in a box that Dennis Quaid gives her, along with a gift that they got her.
One of my favorite little details in this is the going away present that apparently they all pitch in for Elizabeth is in Christmas wrapping paper, which, you know what, I guess because New Year's is coming up.
It's a little while until New Year's.
Because it says months. You're right.
Yeah.
It's in Christmas wrapping paper, which is just the ultimate, like, we truly did not give a fuck.
We didn't even get new wrapping paper. We just grabbed what was left from the season and put it. And it's a French cookbook, she'll find out later, which seems impersonal.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like anything from what we've gathered is specific to Elizabeth's interests or being a person. It is just a thing to give as they kick her out the door. And just, again, he gives her this box and then he's like, oh, I gotta go. And the shot that just stays on him walking down this long hallway, it's so funny. His physical
he's so good in this
portrayal of this is also, he's great. He's so skeezy. Yeah, Elizabeth is counting down the days. She's going into the bathroom and checking where the food is.
Yeah, she's right. She's checking off the calendar. She stays inside all week. And
she's just watching TV.
You see more and more of this, and it's this like idea that once you're not young enough or you're not beautiful enough, even at any age, you feel like you often don't deserve to be in certain spaces.
Yeah.
That can especially be very bad in Los Angeles because it's Los Angeles. Like even the other night we were going to a party and it was on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just dressed whatever. Like, I didn't really think too much about it. But we're pulling up, and there's a line of people outside of one of the other venues. And it is, like, half-naked 20-year-olds who are all in, like, immaculate shape, wearing basically nothing. And I felt so ancient.
Oh, no.
And so frumpy, dude.
Oh.
And I had this flash, and it's not the first time that that's happened, where I was like, I don't look good enough to be here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure a lot of people listening can totally empathize with that feeling, but that's what I gather from like her sequestering herself when she's Elizabeth is you know, sometimes feel like you can't take up space. And that's later the guy in the diner says something to that effect too. We'll get to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally the switch happens. Sue pops in and Sue drinking a Diet Coke looks like a commercial.
Yes. It's so interesting how Sue is always, for lack of a better word, moist.
Glistening.
There's condensation on the Diet Coke. Her lips are like wet. Like her skin is dewy. And that's also like you know, women as you go through menopause, you know, I think of fucking Lucille on Arrested Development. Like, oh, I can't spare the moisture. You know, you dry out a little bit. It happens.
Yeah, Sue sees this ass imprint that was left in the chair by Elizabeth sitting there, and she sees the body laying and she's like, man, I gotta do something with this. So she goes full Benny Benassi.
I was gonna say, it's time to go Benny Benassi satisfaction, dude, and build a fucking secret room to put Demi Moore inside of...
Hide that body away.
And something I
Get
thought
it outta here.
was so interesting is after she builds this like secret closet
With a perfect like swinging door.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
Hot girls can do construction too. She just dumps Demi Moore in there, Elizabeth in there. And I remember specifically, Gressel, you said, oh my God, that's so disrespectful. And I had already been thinking about something I love about this. And you saying that sealed it for me. We are so mean to our bodies.
Yeah. We're mean to ourselves.
We're
and
mean
our
to
bodies.
ourselves because the first time we go back to Elizabeth on the bathroom floor and she's just in the middle of the room naked and her jaw is just open, like she just looks dead, and you just want to wrap her in a blanket or something.
Yeah, there's no care given.
And it's just this moment of like, I should feel like that about myself.
Yeah, and it's ironic then that at the end of Sue's workout session, she ends it with take care of yourself.
Yep. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Yeah.
That workout session is where she goes to, after hiding the body and the giant picture of her away.
Yes,
oh, yeah, because her neighbor, Oliver, knocks on the door complaining about the noise, and he knows Elizabeth Sparkle lives there. He's ready to fucking yell at her and call her maybe a C word, whatever. Yeah. He is furious until Sue opens that door and he melts into a puddle of hormones.
The things you can get away with when you're young and hot.
Yeah,
baby.
he's like, I can, no, I like it when stuff's going on in the building. I can help. She does her video, Pump It Up.
Yes,
been
Sue,
in our head.
this is the new morning show.
Yes, the new morning show is
I love, like, what fucking morning show. Again, this movie's French, okay?
Even the giant billboard that goes up directly outside of Elizabeth's apartment, which is a giant window.
Like those skeezy old American Apparel billboards.
Yeah.
Like
those were ass
when
everywhere.
we first moved to LA, those were everywhere and they were fucking creepy.
Dude.
And I didn't like them.
I didn't know what it was advertising, but I felt like it shouldn't be legal.
Like allegedly clothes.
Yeah. But it's just this giant billboard, and it just says, new show coming soon with a picture of Sue.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. No network, no time, no what it is.
No.
That's the world we live in here.
It's okay, yeah.
And so Sue is doing her Pump It Up video.
Pump it up. Holy shit.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? This shit
You got to pump it
is
up.
so good and iconic, and I'm obsessed with it. It is like Butt City.
Oh, man.
Like airbrushed skin. It's like it's the Call on Me music video.
Yes.
Which I was so shocked you hadn't seen before.
I had never seen, and then I watched it. And
we watched it when we played fucking Mario Party with Call to Meet.
Call the Me.
Yeah.
I don't think we watched the video.
Oh, yeah, we
I know
did.
the song.
Yeah.
No, we watched the video because I thought that it was Valerie by Steve Winwood, and it is not. That is the song that Call on Me is referencing.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But that music video is a very sexy aerobic session.
Yes.
Lots of crotch kind of shots.
And God, the workout, the movements she's doing are not good. She's like throwing out her back, man.
Yeah.
It's painful
like,
to watch.
It's like cat cow. It's just only cat cow, but you're like throwing it back. Like there's no way that that's good, but it doesn't matter. It
She's
looks
like
good.
twerking into the camera.
This is for dudes to watch before
Yeah.
they go to work, I think.
This is not for the middle-aged women trying to stay in shape.
No.
This is for
because they don't even talk
quick
about
rub
getting
one
in
out before you
shape.
go to work.
At least on Elizabeth's show.
Yeah, because Elizabeth's shows You Got It. That's her slogan.
You got, and she's
You got
talking
it.
about sculpting, which I like the idea of sculpting
Get rid of
a body.
those parts you
don't
don't
want to
want.
be a jellyfish on the beach.
Yeah. So already that language is in there. But yeah, none of that from Sue. Sue just says, pump it up, dude. Pump what up?
Yeah.
It.
This is peak Sue. She's in pink.
She's got her first poster on that hallway.
And yeah, her wardrobe's just pink, pink, pink. Her eyeshadow's pink. It's all just girly, cute.
Until she goes out on the night of her last night as Sue, on the 7th night.
Yeah, and she's in a black cat suit.
She's like Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
it's
latex,
it's
skin
like
tight.
Catwoman with a Bianca Belair kind of braid.
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, she tells Demi Moore's lifeless body, like, I'll
Just
be back
one
in time.
more day. Don't eat.
Well, she plans to be back in time, which is obviously not going to work. And when she gets back, I love this sound design because we're on Demi Moore in the dark, hidden bathroom room. and you hear the door open and you're like, okay, Sue's back. It's right up against the wire, but she's back. And then you hear another person with her. She's brought back a guy, and she wants to, get with him. But her nose starts bleeding, which we saw earlier happens when you don't stabilize.
Yeah.
So, but it's time to switch. And she says, you know what? I'm
just gonna sneak just a little bit of spinal fluid
I know
as
you didn't
a treat.
approve this overtime, but I'm gonna work it anyway.
This is girl dinner and the extra spinal fluid.
Yeah. So she does that and gets back to the guy
who says, "Wow, what did you do? You look even more beautiful."
It's the one line that I hate in this movie. It's so bad.
The delivery's so crazy.
It's like, and it's into the camera too. And like the music stops for him to say this, like, wow, what did you do? You seem more beautiful than before.
Yeah.
I fucking pulled this on you the other night and you were so confused until I finished. I was like, what did you do? And I see the look of shock on your face. You're like, what do you mean? I was
what
like,
happened?
You look even more beautiful than before.
I guess that's kind of, though, it's like when you first start getting a little bit of work done and people can't tell.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do?
She has this zipper running down her back,
Yeah,
which is similar to, the spine splitting open. And when he goes to unzip it, her guts start falling out.
Yeah.
There's lots of like gore and organs popping out, but it's not real.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare.
Elizabeth wakes up and she sees that Sue has left a giant fucking mess because she was out partying. There's a yellow Post-it note on the window. The substance yellow Post-it note that guy left. He was like, oops, I left my bike here. I'll take care of it.
And when she reaches out to grab it, she sees...
She's got a witch finger.
She's got a witch finger.
We love a surprise witch finger.
She doesn't.
She doesn't love it. We love it. But
it's all aged and, I don't know...
It's just
nobbled.
Yellow. It's like a fucking fairy tale witch,
yeah.
dude. It's
the little witch plastic finger that you put on.
Oh my god, yes.
That I always get you with.
Yes, James keeps I forget where the fuck we got it from. It was someone's Halloween party. It's one of those plastic witch fingers.
It lives in my coat pocket.
And
that means it's coming up. We're almost in coat season.
Yeah, I know.
So
I gotta keep it
around.
I gotta be on guard for the witch finger. But we'll just if we're he'll go to hold my hand and he'll wait till it's been long enough to where I don't really remember which finger exists. And then he'll hold my hand and I'll just feel the fucking I don't know why, when that started. It's just the thing now.
Yeah.
And I hate it every time.
I get her good.
Anyway, so she calls the phone number and is like, hey, what the fuck? The balance was not respected, and they said, hey, too bad.
She keeps saying she overstayed. She did this, and the phone guy has to be like, there's no she.
There's no she.
You
gotta
guys
remember, you're one. Which kind of, I don't know, makes me think of sometimes I'll tell myself, okay, this week we're being healthy. We're gonna work out. We're gonna eat all the right stuff, all right? Me. And then future me's like, fuck off. And it's almost like there are two separate little people in my head. There's the one that wants to eat clean and be in shape and is like, yeah, we can do this. And there's the other me that's like, but I love Nutty Buddies.
It's the you that's falling asleep and making plans about waking up early and getting all this shit done.
The me before bed is the most clean eating freak. And then the me that wakes up is like, Dunkin' Donuts is right down the street,
Yeah, exactly. And, I know that there are some people are a little confused. Do they remember? Does Sue remember that she's Elizabeth? And yeah, I think it's just when she's making that decision to stay, it's like drunk you.
They're
making
Jekyll
bad
and
decisions.
Hyde.
Yeah, it's when you're in that form, it's like, oh, it's fine. That other person, I won't mind because I know how good it is right now. So I'll just keep drinking. And when I'm hungover tomorrow, I'll wonder what the fuck I was thinking, even though presently drunk me thinks this is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But the phone guy says what has been used on one side is lost on the other, and there is no going back. You cannot reverse this process. Enjoy your witch finger. Respect the balance. Thank you. Bye.
She goes to get, I think, a refill of the substance.
Yeah.
When she goes to pick it up, she heads to a diner that's nearby.
Yep. Wearing her gloves.
Yeah, she's
Hide her
got
little
gloves
witch
on
finger.
now. due to witch finger. And she sits kind of kitty corner from an older man who then asks her, "It's long, isn't it?" And she turns and asks, like, "I don't know what you mean." And he says 7 days. We instantly we see there's like that kind of like port wine stain on his hand. We see
it was the same stain on the doctor's hand.
The same birthmark on that guy's hand, and
he's got the stitches on his back that are visible. And so the young doctor who recruited her is an old guy who is using the substance, and he old version of him starts saying, "Man, it's hard to remember that you deserve to exist in this form, that this version of you is still worthy, that you still matter.
This part of you still matters." And this made me think of like when I was younger, I remember asking specifically my dad, like, when you get older, do you feel like you're old or no? And he said, "No, I feel like I'm still me, young." And then one day you look in the mirror and you're old. And I just think like internally, maybe I think as you age, there almost starts to feel like there's this disconnect, that you on the outside is totally different. And it's this part of you that you feel like, no, I'm still me on the inside, which that's something we hear at the end too, is Sue yelling that it's still her. And you just have to remember, like, no, the physical part of you still deserves to exist. And like I was saying earlier, be seen, take up space, go do stuff. I don't know. This like broke my heart. At first I was like, I think the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, do we need, I was worried it was a little bit too on the nose, but the second time through, I think it's totally necessary.
Oh yeah. And like I said at the start, it shows that like this is a universal problem. Like this guy is also experiencing this. He asks, "Has she started eating away at you?" So he also refers to his younger self as a different person. Even though, his role in all this is a little unclear since he like recruited her.
Well, I mean, his younger self did. So they might as well,
yeah, but like, does he work for the substance? Like, why would his younger self bother like spreading the substance to someone else?
Yeah,
I don't think it matters ultimately, but it is like, it looks like they're the only two doing it since they're the only numbers at the lockers. She runs away from him. She doesn't want to hear that shit.
We see his yellow Hummer outside. You see the yellow Hummer earlier when Sue is first Sue. It's in the background of the shot of her buying the leotard. Yeah. Oh. So that guy was following her, checking up on her.
He has been following her. She decides, you know what? No, I based on what he says, I'm going to reject that. I am going to embrace being Elizabeth. I won't let this version of myself be worthless. So she fishes out Fred's number, which was stored with all the rest of her belongings in boxes labeled old junk.
Yeah.
Which is what she thinks of herself.
Yeah.
Internally. And she fishes out Fred's number and calls him. I love how shocked he is to get her phone call.
It's really sweet.
It's twice rendered speechless by her saying, "Let's get together."
Yeah.
And they make a date, and the time comes, and she starts getting ready for it in the movie's most powerful scene. I
love this scene. She puts on a red dress as opposed to that blue she's been wearing this whole time. She's putting on red, which is visible. She wants to be seen and noticed. She wants to feel sexy. She puts on some red lipstick and she's about ready to go. She's got black gloves on, very Theo from Hill House of her. And she's about to leave and she catches sight of the fucking Sue billboard. And it's Sue. She's like half naked, looks great. And, you see something like that and maybe you look at yourself and think, fuck, how can I believe this guy who has said that I'm the most beautiful girl in the world, but I'm not. I see this billboard and I'm clearly fucking not. I don't understand. It's that doubt.
Yeah.
And so she goes back to the mirror and she covers up her neck with like a neckerchief, a silk neckerchief, which is blue.
And that's good. And I'm assuming it's because like neck is one of those like self-conscious spots on
for women
aging.
it's like your neck and your décolletage and your hands are often a giveaway as well, which I think is also why the finger is one of the first things that starts to go on, turn into which core.
Finger? Yeah, which core? Yeah, after seeing Sue's body, she covers up her neck and chest.
She goes to leave again, and then she just can't. She's back and forth to the bathroom, and man, if this isn't the realest shit ever.
Yeah, I've seen you do this before.
Yeah, I love this scene.
Especially she gets all the way to the doorknob, but then sees a reflection of herself in the doorknob.
Which is a
distorted, warped perspective.
It reminds me of the perspective of your face you get when you take a selfie. Because our phones, the lens on them, it's a total, your nose is huge. Like it's an optical illusion, but like we still think, nope, this is what I look like. Yeah, totally. The body dysmorphia in this scene is incredibly relatable and heartbreaking, and the comparison of yourself to another woman. You can be told a million times that you are the most beautiful to someone, that you look great, that you are attractive, but society doesn't want you to think that. It's very profitable for you to not think that. Yeah. This kind of shit is why I don't really use Instagram. I don't use TikTok because I struggle real bad with body dysmorphia. I can't. I tried using TikTok, and because when you install TikTok, it just kind of spits out whatever because you haven't kind of tailored it to your own tastes yet. And the shit you get by default when you turn on that app is the most wretched shit you've ever seen. It's all filters of people crying because their faces aren't symmetrical, or here's a filter that shows what you would look like with this kind of jaw surgery. It's a nightmare. And I can't use it because I know I'll fucking spiral. Even makeup TikTok, skincare TikTok, even on, to a certain extent, Reddit, which my Reddit account's old enough, it's pretty tailored to me, but I'll get recommended beauty subreddits, and you've got 22-year-olds posting pictures of themselves what are these wrinkles under my eyes and how do I get rid of them? And all the comments are those aren't wrinkles, that's just what eyeballs look like without a filter on them.
Yeah.
And I get it. And it's you try not to, you can tell yourself all you want that it's all just completely, it's manufactured, it's curated, it's run through a gajillion filters. It doesn't matter. It still makes you feel like shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just love this scene. It's so real.
She ends up just smearing the makeup.
Yeah, and again, the violence of the bathroom.
Yeah, she's basically hitting herself.
Yeah, it's total self-loathing. It's being cruel to your own body. It's being angry at your body.
And she does not go on that date.
Feeling like you don't match what you think you should look like. Oh yeah, and she doesn't go on the date.
Poor
and it's
Fred.
so sad because he's texting her and he's like, oh, where are you? I know a big star like you likes to make an entrance. And I just want to cry because he's so sweet.
I know.
He would treat her like a fucking queen. Are you kidding me? Even if she showed up with the witch finger, I think he would like it. I think he would say it makes her different.
Oh, yeah. Fred would say that.
Yeah. He would be like, you know what? I think you were just too perfect, so you had to have some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's sweet.
Sue's back.
Sue
and her butt is back.
Yes.
They're squatting all over the place. And then she does head between legs and her butt bubbles up.
Yeah, there's a something happening on her butt cheek.
It's weird. It's crazy. She stops.
An army of guys in black polo shirts and lanyards marches over to a monitor, concerned and
we're getting something from control room. They said they saw something weird on camera 2. Pan 2. Camera 2 is the camera centered on her butt.
Yeah, and all these guys, I just can't get over all these fucking dudes with their production lanyards
little,
on, the key cards and the headsets, just
all right, let's get playback. All right, let's go frame by frame to see what's weird. And Sue freaks out. She asks for she
screams at her assistant dressed in blue for her robe so she can cover up.
And run into the bathroom where she like digs into her belly button. She finds the lump on her butt and pushes it up towards her belly.
Gross.
And digs out of her belly button a chicken bone.
There's chicken in her belly button.
It's not real.
Yeah,
this
this is
didn't
a
actually
dream.
happen, but this is Sue's concerns with what Elizabeth is doing with her 7 days and her time. Because all she's doing, she's eating a whole rotisserie chicken.
It's the literal, like, oh, I can't have that. It'll go straight to my thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally what happened. So now Sue is mad about what Elizabeth is doing with the time, tries calling the substance, saying, hey, it's what is her number?
503.
She's like, it's 503. This poor guy having to deal with 503.
Oh, man. Yeah.
She's complaining about how Elizabeth is like wasting all her time while she has to work really hard during her time. She's saying the balance is not being respected. And he's just like, well, then respect it, dude. It's all you.
Is this when she gets tagged to host New Year's?
Yes, because she comes back to film, and at first it seems like she's been fired because of her chicken butt, but no, that didn't really happen. So she goes to the office where Dennis Quaid is like, we have to take you off the morning show because our ratings are too good.
Yeah.
She's getting a new show. She's doing a cover of Vogue.
We're giving
She's
you
doing
a
the New Year's
Jamie
show.
Kennedy New Year's special. It's a little more glamorous than that.
Just a little bit, yeah. But because of that, she has a lot of prep work to do over the next few months. So she starts to overextend her stay in Sue's body. We see her being like, just one more night, just one more night. We're doing these photo shoots. We're doing all right. And then when it finally gets back to Elizabeth, oh man, she's been drained quite a bit. We had witchy finger. Now we got like witchy half her body.
Yeah.
It's all the left side of her body, I think.
Yeah. Because
side.
is this the 3 months or is that not yet?
This is when she...
Oh, no, this isn't 3 months. This
Okay.
is like a few extra days.
So this is one leg, one arm, one
half of
side of
her
her face,
face.
and then her hair is all gray and coarse. She's not pleased with how she looks, half a witch here. And she calls the substance, and they offer her to stop.
Yeah, you can just stop.
It won't go back. What has been transferred will not stop. It can't be reversed. And she says she doesn't want to stop.
Yeah.
And, it's like, what if you had stopped
Sunk
just with the witch
cost.
finger? Yeah.
Sunk cost, baby.
Yeah. It's like, you could just stop.
Could just had a witch finger.
But now she's got this knobby knee that she
Yeah,
has to
her fucked up knee.
almost break to stand up. And I saw some people complaining about the how she can almost not stand here, and later she's running around as a gremlin. It's like, whatever.
Yeah,
She's got-
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Like
Just
if
have
you
to
got
break it in a little.
like if you gotta join out a place or whatever, like a shoulder or something, you can pop it back in. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't feel good. But
Yeah.
I really love in this scene how they say you are the Matrix, like it's your choice.
Yeah.
And that like re-emphasis on like Elizabeth is the like prime and like she's like the real or whatever. Just of like the reality within the world, within the reality of the movie, but the reality is that like Elizabeth is what will exist going forward,
Yeah.
like and I think it was really important for the movie to kind of recenter us on Elizabeth because we were with Sue for so long here, and then when we returned to Elizabeth, she's this like monster. But like
She's not a monster yet.
well,
she's just older.
monstrous,
Yeah.
turning
She is walking
monstrous.
around fucking like cooking stuff like a witch in a cauldron.
Yeah, but to recenter it is your choice. You are the Matrix. I thought was really important of the movie to do that. Just a smart movie decision for a long movie,
Yeah.
Because now she opens her gift that she got. It's the French
that
cooking
French
book.
cookbook, which I love that all the recipes, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gressel, I'm sure you were noticing like what was in this cookbook, but like you've got turkey stuffed with foie gras, which
Yeah.
like it's a bird stuffed with another bird.
Yeah, and foie gras is like over engorged livers.
Yeah,
so
and it's
there's a distortion
of, like, a young,
of a body to create it.
Yeah, is it of a young...
I don't
young
think that
dog?
that's necessary. It's not like veal. Veal
Oh, okay,
is
veal, yeah.
young
Okay, yeah.
calves, but foie is a purposeful mutilation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's delicious.
Inside of another being.
Yes.
Yeah, it is tasty.
You've had it? Foie gras? When did you have that?
It was when I was in New York for that DC Superhero Girls thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
So fucking.
I don't think I would have it.
Yeah, it was offered, and I was like, well, Yeah, I'll try.
Sure.
Oh, I did want to mention throughout this movie, there are all these shots of these palm trees.
Oh, yeah.
And we keep going back to them. And I was trying to think, like, what's the deal with the palm trees?
Other than tying into the very final shot of the
yes,
movie.
and other than just, like, it's Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Something that a lot of people don't know about palm trees.
Oh, yeah.
There's two things. One, they're not native to Los Angeles. They are a signature of the city. They are not native. They've been imported, and they are totally artificial in terms of, like, their existence here. I guess three things. The second thing is the palm trees here are basically all about to die. Like, they're all old because they were all put in roughly around the same time. And we're going to, like, lose all the palm tree. And then I think the city's scrambling, like, well, what do we fucking do? Because it's such a visual signature for, like, tourism. And, you know, it's an emblem of the city. The third thing that I think is really interesting is palm trees basically molt. They have, if you look at, like, an older palm tree, you can see all the kind of dead growth on them. And workers have to go up there and peel that shit off, and it kills people. It's one of the most dangerous jobs in LA is be one of the palm tree guys.
Like shedding the palm tree.
Because it's really heavy. So if you accidentally, if a bunch of it comes loose at once, people have been crushed to death.
Wow.
And so it's this, like, totally artificial aesthetic thing that also literally molts, kind of like a bug or a snake or fucking Elizabeth with Sue coming out. And it's just this weird, like people dying, this physical cost at the expense of it's pretty.
An image, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
she's cooking this entire book, watching an interview that Sue did on a late night
dinner.
show.
Yeah, and Sue's on TV, and I did notice that once again, pastel blue starting to creep its way back into Sue's wardrobe. Sue doesn't know it, but it's the beginning of the end for her. She's peaked. The morning show was peak Sue. Now that she's about to do New Year's, you know, she's pushing it too hard.
She's moving into that overexposed thing that often happens with young women celebrities.
Because, yeah, we've got Elizabeth watching her on TV. I'm assuming a rerun because they can't be awake.
A live show, yeah.
Yeah, at the same time. So she's watching her on TV, and everything she says, she's kind of mimicking her. Like, oh, I came from a small town, and she gets asked, oh, well, you know, what's your beauty secret? And it's such the celebrity thing of, like, oh, you know, I stay thin by running around with my kids. And like, fuck off. That's bullshit. And also, one of my pet peeves is asking really young celebrities what their beauty secrets are. Their secret is they're 22.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she's like splattering eggs and meat
so
everywhere.
Gross.
I love this scene.
Yeah.
At one point, she like lights something and a big flame goes off and she's like, ooh.
Yeah. I wonder, like, what do you think this scene is just like, fuck it. I've gotten to this point where I hate how I look so much in this form that I just don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just not even going to bother.
Coralie talked about in this that it's like you reach a point where you're beyond, you have no more expectations for yourself with regard to how other people perceive you, and that is liberation.
Yeah.
You were able to do what you want. You were able to cook all these things.
Yeah.
And just
It's
make a mess.
hag-maxing.
Yeah, hag-maxing, sure.
Yeah.
She has a great time, but then when she swaps out with Sue is pissed.
Yeah, because it's mess.
It's a mess, and she's so mad. So what she does is she just goes and extracts all the juice she can out of Demi Moore's body.
Yeah.
So that she can just live as Sue for as long as she can. Mm-hmm. And so months go by of her being Sue, and it gets to the day before the New Year's show. The next night is her big show. But when she gets her nosebleed and she has to stabilize more, she's out of fluid. She tries to get more stabilizing fluid from the rancid, pulsating just hole, the pussy hole
it's so
that she is
gross.
extracting from. But the only thing that comes out this time is like a black viscous liquid.
Yep. So she calls the service number again and is like,
It's 503.
Yeah, shit's fucked up. And they say, too bad.
You've reached the end.
You gotta switch and let the spinal fluid regenerate. She does.
She switches back. And now Elizabeth is just Gollum. She's
Gollum. She's Angelica Houston in The
Witches, for sure.
There's a lot of, like, I mean, she's the old woman in The Shining.
Mm-hmm. Her boobs are like banging against her knees.
Oh man, it's the like her boobs just like resting on her wrist as she like it's so
just
great.
that Venture Brothers bit.
Yes, the sad parrot tits.
She's
mournful
bald.
tits.
I don't know if this is Demi in all this makeup.
It definitely is.
Really?
That's her eyes for
what
sure.
What a performance then.
Yeah.
To be running around like this little goblin.
Oh yeah.
Sue had a gentleman friend over and she has to like scare him out of there.
Yeah.
There's a shot that cuts from her like monster butt to his butt. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit of man butt there.
Yeah. And we say monster butt because she's like, I don't think any person really looks like this. This is this is getting into great like effects territory where it is like
she has like a big like her back is hunched.
Yeah.
It's just
beyond what I think any person's is capable of.
Yeah. She calls the substance and says it's 503 and I want to stop.
Yeah.
She wants to stop.
Now she wants to stop.
Even though it's gotten real bad, she decides, okay, fine, this is it. I won't go any further. I'm going to stop. She drags the old picture of herself back into the living room just as a way to like, I don't know, remind her of where she came from, who she is.
I mean, that's so real, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is such a universal where like, if you look back at pictures of I look back at pictures of me in my 20s and I'm like, why the fuck was I ever insecure about what I looked like? I was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? I would kill to look like that again. And I know as I now say shit about myself and what I don't like, I know in 10 years, I'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah. So she gets her termination package from the substance.
Yes. This big fucking syringe with this black liquid in it. And this is, I love all the fairy tale stuff we're getting in this too. Cause, there's the obvious, like she's like a fucking witch, especially in that kitchen scene. And like such a common trope in fairy tales is the envious, ugly hag she's jealous of the beautiful fair princess. And that also ties back into what I was talking about earlier, where it's the moralization of looks. In these fairy tales, the ugly old woman is the villain and the beautiful young girl is the protagonist. And I think of like Snow White and that the evil queen is jealous of her beauty and she turns into an old crone to trick her.
Even the like 3-part nature kind of the movie is like made Mother Crone,
For
like,
sure. Yeah.
It's all over. Yeah.
I also think of Sleeping Beauty where she's Sue is in this perfect repose and she even she pricks her with a needle, like the spinning wheel to terminate the process.
Yeah.
And as she's about,
she starts to inject
and
she doesn't get all the way down.
That's when she realizes no, and she says, "You're the only lovable part of me. You have to come back."
I hate myself.
Yeah.
She doesn't finish injecting it, and instead she goes and gets the switcher to switch back into Sue. I guess because of the termination fluid, now they are both conscious.
And
Sue
both
wakes
of them
up
wake
and
up.
she's still there, and it is shocking. And then they get into a fight.
Mm-hmm.
All out Elizabeth
Straight
fight.
up, they're like throwing it, like, by God, they're throwing each other through tables.
They are kicking each other's
It's
asses.
crazy,
I mean, it's
dude.
mostly Sue kicking Elizabeth's ass.
Yeah.
Beating herself up, literally.
Yes. Yeah.
Just kicking the shit out of her. And kicks her across the room through a table and then just kicks her to death.
Yeah.
Just does not stop kicking her.
But hey, it's New Year's now, so Sue's got to do her New Year's thing.
Yep. Now her dress,
Yes.
completely blue.
Now she's in blue, and she looks an awful lot like Cinderella. I think.
Yep. which Cinderella had to get back before midnight.
She has to be back before midnight.
Because the beautiful image that she had was a facade.
Yes, she'll turn into a pumpkin if she doesn't get back on time.
Boy, does she.
Yeah, the magic will wear off at midnight.
And already she's at the studio. The magic's wearing off. Her teeth are falling out.
Yeah.
Well, one tooth falls out, then she pulls a few more out. It's fucking gross.
Well, it's also, I think that's also like oh no, one tooth's already out and I look disgusting.
Might as well.
Can I yank out this other one? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so she has this creepy kind of gummy smile, bloody smile, and has her mouth clamped shut, and she's walking down a hallway, and but there's Dennis Quaid, and he's got the shareholders with him who
All
are
them
a bunch
tuxedoed.
of old white guys in tuxedos, one of whom looks like Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, like with old man makeup on. These guys... You know what these guys make me think of is the beginning of Moulin Rouge when they first get there and it's all guys in like top hats who are like waving their gloves at all the girls. That's just what I think of for some reason.
And he literally says, pretty girls should always smile. And she gives a closed lips smile, but that's good enough for him.
Yes.
Because here come the showgirls.
Here come the dancers in pink. They're all in pink, and that's who he's looking at
Ooh,
now.
feathers.
Yes,
and then they trot after the feathery showgirls.
Yes.
Who are topless for this TV special on network TV.
Yes.
Coralie, this is the United States.
We don't do that here.
I don't know what you're doing over there in France. I could believe it. If you're telling me that your network TV over in France has a bunch of topless ladies, I buy it.
It does really, though, make that one shot we see later of there's a little girl dressed as Sue with the blue dress. And it does make that extra effective knowing that this little girl's in the audience just looking at a bunch of like topless Vegas style showgirls.
Yeah.
You know, it really makes that hit home a lot harder.
She gets the bright idea, the genius idea. Wait a minute. I am the more perfect version of Elizabeth after using the activator. What's the more perfect version of me?
Yeah, because I saved some of that single-use activator.
You'd think they would only give you enough for one use, but there's a little bit left.
And she's crying, and this whole movie just makes me like, I don't know. I feel a lot of things about this movie, but her crying and saying, "Please give me a better version of myself," is like, fuck, man. You know, like it's never enough.
Yeah.
It's never going to be enough. And that's when we get Monstro Elissa Sue, the queen icon of the moment. We all love Monstro Elissa Sue.
Yeah, she emerges out of Sue's back just like Sue did from Elizabeth, and she is not a more perfect version of Sue. She is a large, bulbous monster.
She would be hanging out in the basket case.
Yeah, the sequels where
Yeah.
the unique individuals.
Yes, exactly.
She's got teeth in her chest, like a mouth in her chest.
She's got a boob in her face.
She's got Elizabeth's face head on her back.
It's
just gasping for air.
It looks like that King Crimson album.
Yeah. And she's just a mess.
Yep.
I'd love to see the behind the scenes of what this is and how they did it.
Apparently the it's just Margaret Qualley in the prosthetics, and the Demi Moore face is like CG'd on there in a lot of shots.
Okay.
But it is really impressive to the point where I was like, are they both just in there?
I know,
I don't understand
right?
how this works.
Yeah, I want to know. I'm assuming there had to have been a suit performer in addition to Demi
I would
and
think
Margaret
so. It would be
wearing these costumes.
Yes,
There has to be a suit performer as old Elizabeth and Elissa Sue Monstro.
See, the Vertigo score is playing at this part.
Yeah. Vertigo, Hitchcock film, which also featured like a doppelganger.
Yeah, that's
plot.
like
It's been a while since
doppelganger
I've seen
stuff.
it,
And
but-
also you think of Hitchcock and his obsession with his blondes that he kind of changed out as the years went on.
Monstro Elissa Sue decides that she's gonna make herself up and be real pretty.
Yeah, she puts on the Cinderella dress and she like stabs the earrings into the parts of her skin.
And tries to curl a hair.
Oh my God.
It burns off.
It's
but
like that vine of that girl with the curling iron where she melts off her hair. Like she just does that to herself. Yeah.
she does ultimately cut the face out of that giant Elizabeth poster that has been around the entire movie and super glues it to her own face, punching out the eyes so she can see.
Yep.
And now she's all dolled up and ready to go.
But she goes to the New Year's show anyway and gets on stage.
Well, she's imagining people being like, "Oh, we love you. We'll never get rid of you." And I think it's Elizabeth remembering back to when she first made it big.
Because she's literally looking through Elizabeth's eyes while she's remembering.
And she's in that long hallway that used to be adorned with all of her achievements, and now it's empty.
They go to air. This is after Dennis Quaid is bragging about Sue and how he made her. She's his latest creation. And the lights come on, and there's Alyssa Sue, who's just, thank you. Like she can barely talk. And all the dancers are just...
The dancers' faces are so funny with their grins, like their show smiles plastered on, but their eyes terrified,
darting back and forth. Yeah, everyone starts screaming.
Well, they don't start screaming until she spits out a titty eyeball.
That's right. Yes, she
like hacks out of some
like
orifice.
A boob comes, and it's
like a boob that
is just dangling out of her.
Yep.
It's so fucking good. And that thing falls out of her, and everyone's screaming and pointing at her that she's a monster and a freak. She's yelling back like, "No, it's still me. I'm Sue."
One guy swings, I don't know, a bat or something at her, and she blows up.
Yeah.
But then rebirths like a head, and then starts spewing blood everywhere.
Oh man, it's like a fire hose of
This is
blood.
when we lost Gressel's wife.
No, this is the catharsis. This is the like build up, because this whole movie, especially I think if you're a woman watching this movie is making you relive a lot of shit. It's pissing you off. You're feeling, you're on this movie's level. It's relatable, and this movie then asks like, yeah. And don't you just want to go fucking nuts sometimes? And you do, dude. And you get to see Monstro Elissa go nuts and just spray blood all over these people. And it's cool as hell. I love it. It's just
more close-ups of butts,
fun.
but they're covered in blood now.
Yes.
Just bloody butts.
Bloody butts, yes.
And she's, literally just spewing out like a fucking fire hose, blood everywhere. Goes back in that hallway and is like stumbling down, spewing blood all over the walls.
And this whole ending, I was like, I was trying to think like just on another level, like what's kind of going on here. And this to me just made me think of when celebrities do get plastic surgery, and this can be either aging celebrities or young celebrities now, it's even more common, they feel the pressure to enhance themselves. It's so common for people to go too far in other people's opinion, and everyone's like, wow, they ruined their face.
Yeah.
We
just saw it recently with Erin Moriarty from The Boys. Madonna.
Yep.
One of my faves.
Yep.
Always see that. And like
Nicole Kidman for a while, like that was all people talked about was like, oh, she's had a ton of Botox and looks creepy. Courtney, I mean, we could be here forever naming celebrity.
And like you said earlier, it often ties into people's assessment of these individuals and not only their like present worth, but also like they'll start retconning their past work. Like I see so much stuff about Madonna and how like, oh yeah, she's so irrelevant now, and honestly her past stuff wasn't that good anyway. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Oscar winner, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, she leaves this building and she's like falling apart as she's walking. And this weird little jellyfish version of, I think of the jellyfish on the beach.
Yeah, she falls and just splatters on the sidewalk.
And it's Elizabeth, specifically Elizabeth's face, the one that's like on the back, is like the thing that kind of emerges, and it's this blob I
love this effect.
I love this so much. And it crawls, and we see
it like detaches from the rest of the gore and just like is just like crawling. Yeah, oh, it's so sick.
So good.
It's just her face on the back of like, I don't know, like a sea squid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a jellyfish.
Exactly.
Yeah. We see an overhead. It's that same overhead shot of the star, and Elizabeth crawls onto it, and she's looking up at the
stars,
at the palm trees, and she's smiling.
Yeah,
because pretty girls always smile.
And it's on her Walk of Fame star,
Yes.
the Elizabeth Sparkle star, and then she like melts away. Mm-hmm. Next morning, street cleaner comes by, and she's a washed up star.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, literally.
Cleans her
and
up.
Life goes on.
Just erases her, and all that's left is a cracked star on Hollywood.
Yeah, just another story for if this world was real, she would be like a
Tour bus.
Yeah, or like people would talk about her on celebrity podcasts. Like, wow, remember that fucked up thing that happened kind of thing, you know? She would be an oddity of Hollywood. Maybe part of like like morbid Hollywood tours pointing out like her house.
The star where she,
yeah, exactly. But that's
the substance, baby.
The substance.
Fucking love it.
It changed my life.
Because like there have been a lot of really good movies this year. So many horror films that have been awesome. Like Longlegs was a favorite of ours. I feel like all the ones we've seen before this, even when I've loved them, there have been parts where I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah.
But like this one is I just love it so much. I have no reservations with it.
I love it so much. This movie.
It's such a powerful swing.
Yeah. And it really feels, both of her movies really feel like they are speaking to me, and they're just so relatable, and her movies feel like getting a hug from someone who gets it. And wants you to know that they get it and that they're pissed off.
And it's so funny that they can include so much sex and just like close-up shots of the female body and be these sexy depictions.
Yeah.
And it's done so in a way that like makes a point, because like with that Pump It Up video, it's so excessive that you just start to see how dumb it all is. You're like, this is so dumb. And then you'll realize in real life, some of this is just about as exploitative as that. Like these close-ups on this woman's ass, and that's all it is. And it's like, yeah, some aspects of our culture are really like that.
Literally, it's like Idiocracy, the like Academy Award-winning ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love her work so much. I'm so grateful for her to be putting these things out into the world. And it's like, you want original movies? Here you go, man.
I was thinking about this on my way home today. I was just like, God damn it. People complain that there's not original movies. It's like, there are.
Yeah, go see them.
Go fucking see them.
Go fucking see them, dude. They exist. They're awesome.
It is cool to see this one kind of seeping into the larger pop culture.
I mean, it's Mubi's biggest film, Mubi, the distributor, MUBI.
Yeah.
Good on them. I think Mubi, Neon, and A24? No, I think a smaller one. They all had their like largest films this year.
Oh, nice.
They're all horror films, like indie horror films.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. I could talk about this movie forever, but we'll end it here. Is next week our...
It's a game, or it's some sort of, I don't know. Because I was thinking if we can't get a bracket done up in time, we could always do Who Am I with the three of us.
I would like to do that again. That's fun.
Oh, sure,
sure.
Yeah,
that game
fun.
that we once dressed as Mortal Kombat characters for and did.
Yeah.
And then confirmed that interview.
Okay, cool.
Is confirmed for the last weekend, or the last week in October. And trust me, every single person watching this is going to be excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
There's also interviews with the Terrifier people on Dead Meat Presents here with Damien Leone.
I'm so pissed. I got a root canal that day.
Yeah,
that fucking
so it's just me.
Sucks ass.
They're really good conversations. They're like 40-minute combos, one with Damien Leone and one with Lauren Lavera, the star of it. And then we did do a joint interview of Parker Finn, the writer-director of Smile 2. I'm not sure if that's out by the time you're watching this, but if not, keep an eye out for it. We're going to be trying to build up Dead Meat Presents more and more next year, so stay tuned here. And you'll keep getting the 2 kill counts a week for as long as October goes.
Yes.
Until it kills us.
Great. So until next week, I'm Chelsea.
I'm James.
And that's Gressel. Thank you, Gressel.
Thank you, Gressel.
And this has been the Dead Meat Podcast.